all right. It's all right.
Committed suicide. Do you think the two were related?
Now. We have to get Taylor's stuff. Now. We're going to get Taylor's stuff. Please.
You've been through enough hell. I saw in your bathroom today.
So, diving into Taylor Armstrong's recent reflections on her marriage to Russell Armstrong, it's really striking when she talks about that statistic.
The one about victims returning.
Yeah, exactly. That many domestic violence victims go back, multiple times before they actually leave for good. It just shows how incredibly tangled these situations are.
It really does.
Yeah.
And it's rarely just a simple case of walking away. There's so much more involved.
Right. And Taylor even mentioned feeling like cringy initially about seeing herself as a victim. And there's also her background to consider. She witnessed domestic violence when she was a child.
Yeah. And that kind of early experience can, it can normalize unhealthy patterns, make them seem almost familiar later in life.
She met Russell in LA and things moved incredibly fast.
Very fast. Living together within months.
Months, yeah. And married the same year while she was pregnant. And looking back now, she sees these red flags.
Which often become much clearer in hindsight, right? What kind of flags did she mention?
Well, like his spending habits were apparently pretty consistent and they were always eating out.
Which could seem generous on the surface, but, looking back, maybe it's a subtle control thing or projecting an image. It's hard to say definitively from the outside. But then you get to things like the recording devices.
Oh, yeah. That's deeply disturbing, finding out Russell had put recording devices in their home. Can you imagine just that constant feeling of being watched, monitored?
It completely destroys any sense of privacy or safety. It's a tactic, really. Psychological control. Creates this constant anxiety.
And then there was that specific incident she described about the pizza she made for his sons.
Without vegetables, apparently. And he just... exploded, grabbed her throat, threatened her life over pizza. It's such a disproportionate reaction, but it really highlights the volatility, the hair trigger nature of the abuse.
Yeah.
The trigger itself is almost irrelevant.
And the control wasn't just psychological or physical. Financial control was huge.
Absolutely key. She had no access to cash, no bank accounts.
None. Completely cut off.
And that's such an effective way to keep someone trapped, isn't it? It removes their independence, their ability to even plan an escape.
So then she decides to join the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Which must have added a whole other layer of complexity and fear.
Totally. Fear that everything she was going through privately would suddenly become public knowledge, especially since some friends already knew.
That collision of the private struggle and this very public persona, the fear isn't just about embarrassment. It's about the abuser's reaction, potential fallout. It makes speaking out so much harder.
She also talked about how volatile he could be just unpredictably, like throwing her in a pool once.
Right, and then insulting someone who tried to step in and help her.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And it sends a clear message, doesn't it? Don't interfere. It isolates the victim even further.
Exactly. Reinforces his dominance.
And eventually it did come out on the show. Camille Grammer was the one who revealed it publicly.
I remember that. A huge moment on the show. How did Taylor describe her reaction?
Just feeling like it was out there, no taking it back, which must have been incredibly difficult, having it revealed like that, not on her own terms.
Yeah, that loss of control over her own story, even if it was the truth coming out. That's tough.
And then she shared details about a specific, really violent incident where Russell actually punched her.
Injury to her eye, right?
Yeah.
Fractured her orbital floor.
Yes. And initially she tried to cover it up, told the doctor her daughter had accidentally kicked her.
Which just speaks volumes about the fear, protecting the abuser even after something so severe. It's heartbreakingly common. Did the doctor believe her?
She said the doctor seemed skeptical, which maybe is its own point about recognizing the signs. But eventually, she did get reconstructive surgery for the eye, and she filed for divorce.
A major step.
But then, the story takes another awful turn. She found Russell. He had died by suicide.
God, that's horrific. And her daughter, Kennedy, was there, nearby.
Nearby, yes. Her immediate thought was just, Kennedy. And Kennedy actually asked her, did my dad do something stupid?
Oh, man. From a child, that's just devastating.
It's powerful.
After that, she had to limit her filming for Housewives, didn't she?
Yeah, partly because of the eye surgery, but also just the situation was so public. Everyone knew.
Trying to heal from that kind of trauma under such intense public scrutiny, I can't even imagine the pressure. Privacy is so essential for healing.
And she did express regret looking back, wishing she'd left sooner, especially for her daughter's sake.
That's a heavy burden survivors often carry, that what if. But as you said, leaving is almost never simple. So many factors involved.
Then there was another strange, dark event later. Russell's associate, Alan Schramm, also died by suicide.
Right, and there were theories swirling around that, though nothing proven.
With a little situation involving Alexis Bellino. Remember her from Real Housewives of Orange County?
Oh, yeah, Alexis. Getting married to John Jansen, right?
That's the one. So she was on her Bachelorette trip in Scottsdale, Arizona, celebrating with friends. Joe De La Rosa was there, too, another RHOC alum.
Fun trip, sounds like. But then,
yeah, a bit of drama. Another person at a restaurant took to Instagram. It got shared by Bravo and Cocktails, accusing Alexis of basically cutting the line at the hostess stand.
oof. Not the kind of Bachelorette memory you want going viral. How did Alexis handle that?
Well, her response was kind of interesting. She apparently sent a DM, seemingly accidentally, to Bravo and Cocktails, but she sent it from John Jansen's phone.
From his phone, why?
She mentioned she couldn't message from her own, maybe blocked, who knows. But the message itself, it wasn't angry. She sounded really sad, confused almost.
What did she say exactly?
She basically said her manager handled all the reservations, that she was just following their lead, feeling pulled in lots of directions, and she apologized if she hurt the person's feelings. Wish she could talk to them directly.
Her relationship with John, coming so soon after his split with Shannon Beador, Shannon's DUI, that definitely caused some waves.
A lot of viewer backlash, for sure. The quick engagement raised eyebrows.
Absolutely. And now, despite this little bit of buzz, she's confirmed she won't be back for season 19 of RHOC.
So, yeah, a Bachelorette hiccup, an apology, and then exit stage left.
Okay. So from OC awkwardness, let's shift gears to, well, somewhere the drama has been significantly more intense. Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16. The situation between Brittany, Eady, and Kenya Moore has been something else. It's gone way beyond typical housewife stuff.
That's putting it mildly. The core accusation is just shocking. That Kenya displayed actual revenge porn of Brittany at an event.
According to Brittany, Kelli described them showing the most nastiest, vile things ever. Brittany alleges Kenya attacked her marriage, called her horrible names, and yes, displayed explicit photos. She felt it was a deliberate public humiliation.
God, that's horrific. The emotional toll must be immense.
Brittany talked about being in bed for days, crying, needing therapy, and as a businesswoman, she's worried about her reputation. It's understandable.
Completely. And has Kenya responded? Apologized?
According to Brittany, no apology, not even a private one. Right. And apparently, Kenya blocked her.
Blocked her?
Yeah.
After doing something like that? Wow.
Brittany expressed huge disappointment, saying she felt she deserved at least that private apology. She did admit regretting mentioning a pistol in the heat of the moment.
Which, okay.
But she maintains, and it's hard to argue, that what Kenya allegedly did was 1,000,000 times worse, and she feels Kenya's now trying to play the victim.
That must be infuriating. How have the other RHOA ladies reacted, especially since Kenya's departure from filming?
Brittany said it's been mixed. She felt let down by some who didn't really step up, maybe didn't want to alienate Kenya. She named Drew Sidora as someone who kind of stood back.
Okay. Anyone supportive?
Yeah, she said Kelly Farrell and Cynthia Bailey reached out, and Portia too, even though Portia's friends with Kenya. But then there's a twist with Kelly.
Oh, what happened?
Well, Brittany seems to be having a fallout with Kelly now. Kelly made some cryptic Instagram post about defending someone unpopular. Brittany thinks Kelly's now siding with Kenya, which is confusing given the initial support.
So the big question, could Brittany ever forgive Kenya or film with her again?
She said if Kenya had shown real remorse, apologized privately, maybe, but given that hasn't happened, and Kenya's apparent victim stance, Brittany said currently, no, she wouldn't film with her.
Can't blame her. That's a deep wound. Okay, let's move from Atlanta over to Salt Lake City. There's some buzz around Bronwyn Newport.
Yes, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Bronwyn reportedly showed up late to the recent cast trip to the Caribbean.
Why late? Drama already.
Well, an insider suggested it was because of the heat. She's getting over some pretty serious allegations from her past, specifically alleged identity theft and grand theft charges.
Oh, okay. Identity theft, grand theft. Where's this coming from?
YouTube vlogger Dana Bowling, Daily Dose of Dana, has been talking about claims made against Bronwyn, and Bravo Boo on Instagram posted about alleged felony charges from 2021, plus potential fraud charges back in 2018 that supposedly got her fired from a finance job.
That's a lot. Has any of this been confirmed? Is there like a mugshot or anything?
Apparently no public mugshot has surfaced yet. And it's important to note these are still allegations being discussed online. Dana Bowling did share her personal take, saying she's always found Bronwyn incredibly disingenuous and very fake even before this stuff came out.
Interesting. So the online chatter has been building.
Yeah, seems like Bravo Snarkside shared some alleged screenshots of charges from March 2021, and it kind of snowballed from there within the fan community.
And Bronwyn's response?
So far, silence. She hasn't publicly commented on any of it yet.
Definitely one to watch then, especially with the new season filming. Okay, code switch again. Back to Beverly Hills. Big news there with Garcelle leaving RHOBH.
Huge news. And it immediately sparks questions about who is coming back for season 15, right? Erika Jayne weighed in on that.
What did Erika have to say, particularly about, say, Sutton Stracke, now that Garcelle, her main ally, is gone?
Yeah, Erika focused right on Sutton. She basically said Sutton's future on the show without Garcelle depends on Sutton's shoulders and how she responds to everyone.
Sounds a little bit like a warning shot, maybe. Like, can she handle the heat without backup?
That's certainly one interpretation. Less sending my support, more, let's see how this plays out.
Right. Erika also popped up on The Masked Singer recently, didn't she? As Yorkie.
She did. She seemed to have fun with it, even though she got unmasked fairly early. Said it was a positive experience.
Good for her. But back to the Garcelle situation. Erika made some comments on Watch What Happens Live that were seen as shady towards Garcelle, right?
Yes, but Erika clarified that it was directly because Garcelle had previously said FK Erika. So it was framed as a response, not an unprompted dig, tit for tat.
Okay, so the tension is still there. Does Erika see any reconciliation happening with Garcelle down the line?
She said she has no idea. Doesn't sound like it's a priority. And of course, we still have part 3 of the RHOBH reunion to get through.
Ah, yes, the reunion. Always brings things to a head. All right, let's shift to the Vanderpump Rules adjacent world. Jax Taylor. He was at the Valley Season 2 premiere party.
Well, he took a bit of a shot at Lisa Vanderpump, claiming she's not really involved with the Valley, saying Lisa doesn't even know who's on our cast.
Ooh, shady towards LVP. Anyone else in his sights?
Pretty much all the new cast members on the Valley, except Brittany and Kristen Doot. He kind of dismissed the others as being too new.
Wait, didn't he also say something surprisingly self-aware?
He did, yeah. He admitted he was disgusted by how he acted in the first 2 episodes of The Valley Season 2, called himself a shell of a human being.
Whoa, that's unexpected. What brought that on?
He explained it was filmed when he was at absolute rock bottom, dealing with the split from Brittany, her getting involved with his friend Julian Sensley. Starting sobriety, he said he's 133 days sober, now going to rehab, getting diagnosed with bipolar disorder and OCD, losing their house.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge amount to deal with all at once.
Absolutely. He said watching those episodes back made him cry. It sounds like a really rough period captured on camera. He said he'd be interested in doing a catch-up special with the old Pump Rules crew someday, which, you know, would probably get huge ratings.
No kidding. And what about the Valley itself? Is he excited about anyone joining besides Kristen?
He mentioned Tom Schwartz specifically, sounded happy about that. But his comments about maybe Scheana or Lala joining seemed less enthusiastic, almost like he wants the Valley to stay separate from VPR.
Got it. And the Valley Season 2 premieres soon, right?
Yep, April 15th. Mark your calendars.
All right. Circling back one more time to RHOBH. Kyle Richards had some updates during an Amazon Live session.
She did. She talked about Garcelle leaving, said she'd reached out but hadn't heard back yet. Kyle sounded genuinely disappointed, thought they were in a good place.
Yeah, that's tough when friendships end, especially publicly. What else?
She explained her reunion outfit was kind of last minute because she was focused on Teddi Mellencamp's health scare around that time. Said the dress wasn't her priority.
Oh, that makes sense. And speaking of the reunion, has she watched it?
Said she hasn't even seen part 2 yet. Which is kind of surprising.
It is. But maybe good for her mental health. What about her friendship with Dorit Kemsley? How are they doing?
Kyle said they are good. They apparently worked through their issues during the season and then again at the reunion. So that friendship seems to be back on solid ground.
It's good to hear they've had their ups and downs. And how is Kelli doing? Kyle mentioned her health struggles.
Kyle praised Teddi's strength and positivity, but said it's really hard seeing her friend in pain. She actually asked people to send Teddi positive comments online.
That's nice. It sounds like Teddi's really going through it.
It does. Kyle also reacted briefly to Lisa Vanderpump saying on her podcast that she missed their friendship.
Oh, what was Kyle's reaction? A thaw.
Cautious optimism? Maybe. She said she was initially skeptical because of some past snide remarks from LVP, but she didn't rule out listening to it later, so maybe a tiny crack in the ice there.
Never say never. And did she mention anything else funny?
Just that PK Kemsley keeps sending her memes about Erika Jayne's estranged husband, Tom Girardi.
Oh, PK. Always with the memes. Okay, one last stop. Back to Atlanta for a Nene Leakes reaction.
Yes. So a clip resurfaced online from years ago. It was Kenya Moore talking about Nene being phased out of RHOA.
Ooh, dredging up old shade. How did Nene react to seeing that again?
Her response was simple but effective. She posted 5 laughing emojis on her Instagram story. That's it.
Oh. Sometimes that says more than words, doesn't it? Especially since they seemed kind of okay recently.
Exactly. They'd had some seemingly positive interactions, despite other little digs here and there. But those old rivalries, they die hard. She did delete the story later, though.
Still, message sent. Okay, finally, let's wrap with Scheana Shay, also at the Valley premiere party. What was her take on the Jackson Brittany situation?
Scheana left no doubt. She declared, Team Brittany, always and forever. Very clear.
Okay. How's her relationship with Jax then?
She called it cordial, but not close. Her husband, Brock Davies, was maybe a bit more blunt, calling it a work in progress.
Uh-oh. Do they buy Jax's whole transformation narrative?
They sounded skeptical. Brock literally asked, how many leaves does this guy have to turn? So, yeah, not fully convinced.
Fair enough, given the history. But do they want him to succeed?
Scheana said she hopes he improves mostly for Brittany's sake and for Cruz's best interest, their son. So the hope is there, even with the side eye.
Got it. What else did Scheana dish about the Valley or VPR?
She teased a lot of craziness for the Valley season 2, like VPR drama, but with parents in their 40s. Said she's friends with most of the cast, but gets stuck in the middle a lot.
Sounds about right for Scheana. Any fun tidbits?
She was amazed that Lady Gaga and Seth Rogen are Pump Rules fans.
Yep.
Mentioned she doesn't see Lisa Vanderpump often. Talked about liking The Masked Singer. Even got a bat tattoo inspired by it. And her daughter Summer Moon loves seeing her on TV.
Oh, that's sweet. Any chance she'll pop up in the VPR reboot?
She hinted maybe a cameo. And her advice for the new cast: be your authentic selves.
Always interesting advice in reality TV.